RTO here. Welcome to our monthly Ladies' Day on RTO, where we look at female artists and their contribution to the music business. Today we've got a band that's been asked by a couple of people, and the band is American all-ladies rock band Fanny. Now Fanny, very influential on lots of bands. More the ones that really stick out are Heart, the Go-Go's, the Bangles. But others have said that Fanny were sort of their benchmark band. They were active from the early 1970s, and then they did a bit of a reunion not so long ago, which I have actually included in this ranking. So the group were founded by guitarist June Millington and her sister bassist Jeans. They'd been playing music together since they'd moved from the Philippines to California in the early 60s. They played through variations of the band, and then they attracted the interest of producer Richard Perry, who signed them to Reprise Records in 1969. The band recorded 4 albums together before June quit the group, leading to everyone splitting up following a final album. They disbanded, and the Millington sisters continued to play music since their split with former drummer Bree Harwood Darling, and then they formed a spin-off group called Fanny Walk the Earth in 2018. So as I said, they released 5 albums as Fanny, and then they released this one-off album as Fanny Walk the Earth. So I'm going to include that in the rankings, because as far as I'm concerned, there's Millington sisters are involved, so we've got 6 to look at today. So coming in at number 6, we have the 5th album, and it is Rock and Roll Survivors. We've got Jean Millington on the bass, drums was Bree Howard, this was her first album with them, guitarist was Patti Quattro, keyboards Nicole Barkley, and the synthesizer was played by James Newton Howard as an additional musician. First track on this album is the title track of Rock and Roll Survivors. Solid track. That bass line from Jean is pretty good, and of course you get some nice harmonies. Absolutely great song. Butter Boy really got a really good track. It's got a bit of that Pink Panther theme to it in places. It's not a bad track at all. Long Distance Lover, nice track, again some nice harmonies, nice guitar work here from Patti Quattro, absolutely brilliant. Then they do a version of Rolling Stones' Let's Spend the Night Together, and I wish I hadn't. It's not a very good version, I'm afraid. Rocking All Night Long, love that opening riff. Got a nice keyboard sound here from Nicole. It's got this proper 70s rock. Get Out the Jungle, it's okay. It's got some nice keyboards in it though. Excellent stuff. Beggar Man, this is my favourite track. I love the guitar solo on here. It's very funky. It's not bad at all. Sally Go Round the Roses, love Jean's bass line. She's a pretty good bass player, is Jean. That's a really good track. I've Had It, great guitar riff, but it sounds more like a disco track. That was the last track on the album. This isn't a bad album, but it's not a classic Fanny album. I think their best days are already gone by the time this album come out. I don't know if it was contractual they had to make the album, who knows, but it's not, hasn't got that sparkle, although it has got some good tracks on it. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 5.5. Okay, then coming in at number 5, as I said, we've got this sort of reunion album released in 2018 called Fanny Walk the Earth. Now this features June Millington on guitars, bass as ever Gene Millington, drums on 2 tracks is Alice de Burr, which is the original drummer, and drums also were Bree Darling, who was Bree Howard at the time. It's got lots of female backing vocalists. I'm not going to go through them all because there's loads, but Debbie Peterson's on here, and Patti Quattro, Susanna Hoffs from the Bangles, Vicky Peterson's on here, Cheery Curry, Christine Norman, Debbie Pattison, to name a few. So the first track in here is Lured Away. Nice, great rock track. Really, really, really good. You know, it proved that the Millington sisters had still got it. When We Need Her, another good track, sounds really good. Walk the Earth, great track, some great guitar work here from June. Excellent track. Girls on the Road, it's all about them, I think, on the road. It's a nice little rocker. Then we get One, sounds good. The vocals on this are great, the harmonies are brilliant. It just shows that this band still have got it after all these years. I mean, they're now senior ladies and they can still rock. It Happened Here, it's alright. It's not a brilliant track, I'm afraid. It's a bit mediocre for me. Not My Monkey, this goes back to the good old days. It's a really funky track, I like that one. Cool Girl, not keen on that one either. What Are You Waiting For, great track. The bass line from Gene is terrific. Still really laying down them beats on the bass. Stormcross, it's alright. Love Farmers, a reasonable track, not a bad track to end the album. On the whole, I think this is a really good album. You know, considering how, you know, things moved on. I mean, they're not spring chickens anymore, but this proved that they can still make good records, and you've still got that distinctive sound of Fanny. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 4, we have the debut album, self-titled Fanny, released in 1970. So you've got June Millington on the guitars and vocals, Gene Millington bass and vocals, Nicky Barclay on the keyboards and vocals, and Alice de Burr on the drums and vocals. Come On and Hold Me is the first track, and boy can you tell where Heart got their influences. There's not much difference between this track and stuff off the first Heart album, Dreamboat Annie. Very, very good track. I've just realised this is a great little rocker. There's some great work here on the guitar from June. Great vocals as well. Solid track. Candlelighter Man. Love Nicky's keyboards on this, and the harmonies are fantastic. These 4 ladies could really sing together. Absolutely belter track. Then we get Conversation with a Cop. The bass from Gene and the piano from Nicky is brilliant on this. Then they do a cover of Badge, written by Eric Clapton and George Harrison, of course. It's a really good version of it as well. Not a bad track. Changing Horses. Great track this is. Got great drumming here from Alice de Burr. You've got the great bass line. The Engine Room doing a brilliant job on that track. Fantastic stuff. Bitter wine, very pastiche here, but some really nice harmonies. Take a Message to the Captain, some good guitar work on this again, really catchy tune, I like that a lot. Then we got It Takes a Lot of Good Loving. This is a Judy Clay number and written by Booker T. Jones. I think this is a better version than Judy Clay's, to be quite honest. It's got a bit more rock to it. Shade Me, again, I do love Nicky's piano on this. It's a really good track. And then we have the last track, which is my favourite track, Seven Roads. Love the Hammond organ on this from Nicky. One of the heaviest tracks I think they ever did. I just love the guitars on here. The keyboard solo from Nicky is brilliant. A very good debut album. It's got a mixture of rock, ballads and middle of the road music. It's got a bit for everybody. Some great playing on this. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 3, we go to the second album, released in 1971. Charity Ball. Again, we got the classic lineup, as I call it, June, Jean, Nicky and Alice. Opens up with Charity Ball, which became the group's first top 40 hit in the United States. Great little rocker. Great way to start the album. I love that opening riff from June. Absolutely terrific. What Kind of Lover, really good track. It's sort of a rock track but more soft rock. Really nice guitar solo again from June, pretty good. Cat Fever, great rock track. The piano from Nicky on this is terrific. A Person Like You, this is more country rock, but it's still a nice little track. Then we get Special Care, written by Stephen Stills, of course. It's a really good version of this song, nothing wrong with that one. What's Wrong With Me, acoustic song here with some nice vocals and some nice keyboards. Soul Child, this starts off with a great bass line. It really gets you hooked into it, and it's really good from Gene. And then Alice comes in on the drums. It's pretty solid. Great track. Then we get my favourite track, You're the One. It's got, again, that combination of the bass and keyboards. Great drumming from Alice, and the vocals on this are just top notch. Thinking of You, not very keen on this one. It's probably one of the weaker tracks by the band. It just doesn't seem to flow as good as the others. Place in the Country, this is more that funky rock they did. Nice piano from Nicky. Again, the highlight of this is them harmonies. A Little While Later, this is a nice slow track. Nice keyboard work from Nicky. Very good pianist. Excellent stuff, and a good way to win the album. Again, we got that lovely balance of rockers and middle of the road stuff. A good round album this is. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay, then coming in at number 2, we go to the fourth album, released in 1973, Mother's Pride. We've got, of course, Gene Millington, Alistair Bird, June Millington, Nicky Barclay. Helping them out on this one is Barry Rogers on the trombone and John Payne on the flute. First track on this one is called Last Night I Had a Dream. I like this track. Love the vocals. Interesting sort of effects and sounds on it. Really good track. Long rolling tone. This is a sort of ballady type thing with some nice keyboards. Really good song. Then we get Old Hat, my favourite track. Nice gentle track with some really nice keyboards and harmonies in this from the ladies. Excellent. Solid Gold. This is a little Beatlesque to me. The guitar work is great. Good guitar player. June was really good. Is It Really You? Again, we have one of these little funky tracks that you get on their albums. Really solid track. All Mine. The harmonies are great. The keyboards are great. The guitar works good. It's a really good Truck Summer Song. This is a solid rock and roll sound. Great drumming from Alice. Terrific track. Polecat Blues. Nice bluesy rock number here. Great piano from Nikki. Just a good track. Beside Myself. Some great work here again from June. Great keyboard solo on this as well. Nikki is a terrific keyboard player. Regular Guy. There's something about this. It's got a great bass line, a great guitar riffs from June, and you can just tell again how the Go-Go's and the Bangles were influenced by this band. The harmonising on this is brilliant, and you get that both with Go-Go's and Bangles. That is a terrific track. And What I Need You to Need Me. Love Gene's distorted bass on this. It's absolutely brilliant. And the drumming from Alice is terrific as well. Then we get Feelings, a nice little track here, some lovely piano, great vocal, and the flute adds some atmosphere to it. It's a really good track. I'm Satisfied. The harmonising at the beginning of this is such great. It's a great rocker as well. I would say this is the last of the really great albums from Fanny. It's the last with the classic lineup. It's a fantastic album. I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. So my number one. This is probably the first album I ever heard by Fanny. I heard it about not very long ago. It's less than a year. I loved it, and and I thought these are a good band, and I could see how other female bands really got influenced by these. It's the third album, released in 1972, Fanny Hill. Again, we got the classic lineup of June Millington, Jean Millington, Nicky Barclay, and Alistair Burr. Other people helped on this one. We had Bobby Keys on saxophones, and Jim Price arranged the brass. First track on here is a cracker. Ain't That Peculiar, song written by Smokey Robinson, and they do a fantastic version of this song. It's a good song anyway, and they do this one great justice. Knock My Door. Some of the best piano playing from Nicky Barclay on here. I mean, she wrote the song. I love the arrangement. It's a brilliant song. Blind Alley, my favourite. What a rocker this is. Awesome guitars from June. One of my favourite tracks by the band. Absolutely belter. You've Got a Gut, You've Got a Home. Again, one of my favourite tracks by the band. The acoustic guitars sound good on here. Harmonies are wonderful. Absolutely belting track. Wonderful Feeling. Great vocal from Jean. It's a great track. That bass line from June really drives this one along. It's got a very catchy hooky tune as well. Borrowed Time. Again, I love this. The horns is brilliant on it. This bit of fashion, good old fashioned boogie woogie. A great guitar solo from Jean. All brilliant. Then they do a version of Hey Bulldog. Different sort of interpretation of this classic song, but I like it. It's a little bit different and it's really good. Think About the Children. Love this. The bass line, the keyboards again, they really get into the groove. It's what I like about this band. The bass and the keyboards are terrific. Rock Bottom Blues. Gene's guitar, great. Nikki, brilliant. Alice, fantastic on here. Sound and the Fury. This is very Eagles. This is the female version of an Eagles song, and it's fantastic. Got all them traits that you get with the Eagles, but the only difference is it's the females singing. The First Time, another great track. The combination of the brass and the keyboards on this really give it a rich sound. That organ sound really lifts this track. It's absolutely belter. This is one of them albums where everyone played on top form. I think everything clicked for them on this album. The two covers are superb. I think this is the most comprehensive album by Fanny. Some of Jean's best guitar work on this, again, and some of Nicky's best playing. As I said, everything clicked on this album, and that's why it's my favourite, and I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 8.5. Okay then, that's all for ladies, the first ladies show today. We've got a retro ranking later, and again, this is a band that were influenced by Fanny, and we're going to be looking at my favourite top 10 songs by the Go-Go's, another band that influenced other bands. So you've got Fanny, and then Go-Go's come along, who are influenced by these, and then the Go-Go's came on, and then other bands were influenced by both bands. So it all sort of connects. So I'll be back for the later, so see you then.